Hi, welcome back to Jack of All Trades, and this is my second ever YouTube video. So I'm in my first YouTube video, and honestly it was kind of a mess, between worrying if I should call it YouTube or YouTube video and trying not to anger the Algorithm Ogre, which I'm pretty sure lives in a basement in California deciding who stays and who goes. I realised I had a lot to learn. I sat down to watch it back. I didn't just find a few tweaks, I found a mountain of technical fails. Today I'm showing you the before and after of my setup, how I'm trying to go from complete amateur to something that is actually watchable. Also at the end of the video I'll be explaining to you where this channel is going to go in the future. So following advice from seasoned veterans of the YouTube fraternity, I did two things in the creative process before I even started on the actual video. Firstly, I came up with a title for this video, which on this occasion was obvious to me. I called it "My First Video Was a Disaster," so I fixed it. Secondly, I got my iPad out and created a thumbnail that visually supports that title. With those two things in place, and with my real passion to improve on video number one, I had far more focus and some very clear goals. Okay, rabbit hole warning coming up. Having done everything I'm going to cover in this video, I sat down to prepare my first script. Right at the start, I used the word postcode. I immediately stopped typing, did some mental gymnastics around the fact postcode is a very British-centric word, with other countries using zip code, postal index number, etc, etc. So I've made a decision early on. To avoid being patronising to you by explaining what you already know, let's just agree this. Any reference to cost will be in pounds, any reference to distance will be in imperial miles, any reference to length will be in metric, and so on and so forth. I'll leave it up to you to do your local calculations. So we're back out the rabbit hole, and I was telling you about my clear goals. Goal number one, sort the audio out. In my first video I sounded like I was broadcasting from a different postcode. I actually got a comment, shout out to Paul Rose, for pointing out the levels were very low. Absolutely my mistake. I was actually editing with the headphones cranked to 100%, and when I turned my volume down to a normal level I could barely hear myself. I have a great microphone here, a Shure MV7 Plus running through a Scarlett 2i2 interface, but clearly gear doesn't matter if your software settings are all wrong. After much tweaking, I've stopped bouncing around at the bottom of the volume meter, and I'm also not so high that I've introduced clipping. If I'm still too quiet, or if I'm now screeching in your ears, please let me know in the comments and I'll revisit that one. Goal number two, sort out the lighting. In video number one, I had a major glare problem, mostly coming off the top of my head and my glasses. Funny enough, I've been an amateur photographer for many years. I know how light works, but I guess with the stress or excitement or whatever it was of creating my first video, all that knowledge seemed to go out the window. I've ditched the overhead lights. I've added a fill light to reduce the shadows in the background. I'm bouncing my main light off the wall behind the camera. This diffuses the light, softens the shadows, and hopefully reduces reflections on my glasses. I've also matched the colour temperature across all the lights, just so I don't look blue or orange. It's a much more flattering look, or as flattering as it can be given the subject matter, namely me. Goal number three, image quality. This is a biggie. And to even use the words image and quality in the same sentence is something of an oxymoron when talking about my first video. In my defence, on my monitor, my Logitech C920 Pro HD looked absolutely fine. But once YouTube's compression got hold of it, it looked like it was filmed on a potato. To be fair to Logitech, I looked it up and realised the webcam only has a 3 megapixel sensor, and to put that into perspective, my current iPhone 17 Pro Max has a 48 megapixel main sensor. However, I didn't want to use my iPhone, mostly because the second I hit record, someone's guaranteed to call or FaceTime me. So off I went down the tech shopping rabbit hole, lots of research, lots of Googling. I needed a real camera, a lens that didn't distort my face but blurred the background, and finding a way to set it up so that I engage more with yourselves. In my first video, I spent much of the time looking at my own face on the monitor, looking at the desk, or looking around the room, basically looking anywhere other than at the camera. The solution? I've invested in a camera and lens dedicated to creating content and a teleprompter to both help me maintain eye contact and also to add the structure that's hopefully coming from using a script. As with any new equipment, this opened up another episode of the never-ending tiny room challenge, as I would call it. Fitting my extra gear into my 2 metre by 2 metre office was like playing a high-stakes game of Tetris. If you actually want to see just how much gear I've crammed into this tiny space, go back, watch video number 1, there's a link in the description. It'll help my views, obviously, but it'll also help you appreciate that I'm basically sitting in a cockpit of tech right now. Finally, I mentioned earlier, there was the question of what is my target audience. I put this on the back burner whilst I was finding my groove, really. I've been focusing on the craft of content creation, software, editing, all the stuff that you have to do to put out a video. But with lots of advice from some of the many YouTube channels who are dedicated to the topic, I don't know what it was, but something seemed to click. Maybe it was fate, maybe it was research, or maybe it was just dumb luck. Whatever the source, I've finally decided my niche is analog meets digital. I grew up with a childhood in the 60s, teen years in the 70s, and a working life that started in the mid-70s and ended in the 2010s. I'm a 67-year-old creator with a lifetime of mechanical grease and digital data under my belt. From an apprentice mechanic in the 70s to a 30-year career in the UK police, serving as a motorway patrol officer, a motorcyclist, accident investigator. For 6 years, I was even the Force Federation General Secretary. It's a bit like a union. In short, I've spent my life solving problems. I believe I'm bridging the gap between the traditional skills of my youth and the cutting-edge tech of today. What you'll find here on my channel going forward is the workshop, heavy metal engineering, lathes, milling machines, hand planes to electric planers, hammers to electric impact tools. Here in the studio, you'll find everything from drones, Linux, Windows, Mac computer software, through to 4K cinematography and amateur radio. I'll be drawing on a lifetime of engineering and problem solving to master the digital world, while still getting down and dirty with the analogue world it's all built upon. Whether you're here for the hum of a manual lathe, machine tools, or the lowdown on the latest tech, this channel is about proving you're never too old to innovate and never too young to appreciate. So please subscribe, join me in the workshop and the studio. I'm not sponsored, obviously, but I have put links to everything I'm using here today in the description. So what do you think? Is the improvement noticeable, or should I go back to the drawing board and try again? Is my niche only of interest to one person, me? Just please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.